Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kirisho here, and now, before we begin, let me give a brief little review. In the last part, a number of events have happened. We had Deku. We also had Marcy. Now, these two, they went to the New Vegas Medical Clinic, and their day was very fucking strange. Deku met a doctor there who found out that the two were both vault dwellers and mutants. And this was highly intriguing. They had a conversation, and she talked about a few things. Deku exchanged information, and things were made quite clear. She wants to exchange information she can find about the Enclave with information and possible technology Deku's vault might have. Deku revealed that the Enclave still exists, and this surprised the doctor. She made a deal with him, and right now, that deal, it's going to be honored. This is the opportunity to not only talk to living vault dwellers, but find a vault that has been untouched and unravaged by the wasteland. I mean, this is a huge opportunity for Vegas. If the followers can be the first to contact this isolated civilization, there's no telling what they could learn. Before the wasteland eats it up, or, well, things don't go well for it. Now, Deku and Marcy, they had a bit of a competition. Marcy was on some grape mentats, and she was having her mind race at 1,000,000 miles an hour. The two, they had a bit of a race. They went all the way from the New Vegas Medical Clinic down to the 188. They ran, and they ran hard and fast. When they got there, the day was already beginning to come to an end, though they went further down the road to the gas station after picking up some supplies. They made food and encountered a strange person who, I guess, spontaneously combusted, before they decided to pack their shit and head to Novak very quickly. Now, other than the oddities of the night, they were at a place where no one knows they're there, the door is locked, and they basically have an entire hotel to themselves. I mean, the people who do know Deku knows he killed a woman who tried to sell people to slavery and has done so before. There's Boone who can vouch for him, and the Legion? I mean, hell, as far as they're aware, he's still in Westside. News might travel fast, but they moved pretty damn fast today. Though, they ended their day with a drink, especially after the shit they've seen. Now, we do actually have the next morning. Deku, he does lay there in the bed. Right now, a lot beginning to go through his mind. He does begin to wake up. Currently, him laying on his side as he does go to turn. Right now, him climbing to his feet as he does go to sit there, beginning to stretch and move. Before he said turn, seeing Marcy still lying there with her back faced away towards him. And he does get to bring his hand up. Currently, her going to stir before he does to tell her that they've got to get moving. Hmm? Right. Right. You just get up too? Yeah, we gotta go. I, oh, it's, 10. Oh, shit. Yeah, we're a little behind. We made good time yesterday, but I think we can get to Nipton? I'm sure we can. Though, what we do there? It's a massive desert, right? Yeah, it is. Plus, we might be going uphill for a minute, so I'd say we get there, stay for a minute. Maybe, but don't you think that we'll waste time? We're half a year behind them. probably about, what, 4 months behind on your guys' trail? Maybe more. I guess you're right. Yeah, I know. Listen, we'll head out. When we get to Nipton, you can take some of your mentats and we'll see what we can find. See what we can do. Other than that, I think you should save the third one for Slim. Or, well, no, no. It wasn't called that. It was called Prim? Yeah, it was. Okay, good. Deku going to stand, making his way over to his bag, and then picking it up. Her going to turn and begin to stretch herself. Right now, her going to start crack her back and then going to stand. And the two, they do begin to leave. Currently, them trying to leave no trace that they were here. And whenever people do begin to see people making their way out of the hotel, they do move quickly. Deku feeling this hot sun already beginning to beat down on the both of them. Now, Deku, he currently does make it down the road, and there is where a man does spot them, currently turning and watching them head towards the ranger station that's further outside of the town. Now, Deku, when the two are making their way out there, they do pass by it, seeing that there's no one on duty. And that enough already is a little odd, a little strange. Though they do try to ignore it. There are powerful players in Vegas. Best thing to do is be left alone from them. Not make them angry. Not piss them off. Try not to at the very least. So if they're going to try and avoid the Rangers, they're going to just keep on moving. And this is the two, they do begin to head further uphill. Right now, them encountering some more Vipers. And they are a little well equipped. Currently, Deku hearing a gunshot and turning, seeing somebody who, they're bright. And the sun, yeah, it definitely gleams off that metal armor they're wearing. Currently, Deku, going to turn his Marcy, does take aim. Right now, her going to fire at one of the raiders, and then watch the bullet fly through the air and bounce off their armor. It smashing into them as they go somewhat turning. Right now, feeling the blow move throughout their body. And there is Izuku, who currently does going to sit behind a bombed out car. Him going to check his rifle and then go to reload, pulling back the hammer and then going to let go of it before going to turn. Right now, him going to begin to fire. And the sun, yeah, it's definitely bright. He's having a little bit of trouble seeing, but right now, he is a little bit more accurate. Currently, him going to empty out the entire magazine, firing at the three raiders. And this is where a grenade it is thrown. Right now, them going to turn and hear that sound, hearing the clicking. And there is Suzuku, who does go to sit behind the car as he's a turn, grabbing Marcy. Him currently pulling her back down to cover when the grenades go off. And they do sit there, currently feeling the car smash in their backs before they do try to sit there and reinforce it with their body. Currently them going to be tossed a few feet backwards as the car it does try to flip over. And this is a bit of a problem. Currently, Deku going to turn and try and bring both his hands up. Right on him, throwing them at his Marcy, she does a turn. Right on the car having one of its, well, most of its body smashed down onto Deku's legs. And this isn't good. Him screaming out in pain as Marcy does it a fully stand. Her taking the sniper rifle and spinning, aiming out and firing at some of the Vipers. Her striking one in the shoulder before they drop their knife and scream. Her turning and aiming at the other one, bring the weapon up as they hold up their shotgun and fire. The spread barely hitting Marcy, which is to take this shot and take off the person's head. For turning, seeing the person who does still have the metal armor on, them making their way down and currently firing off a 10 millimeter pistol. And there is Deku, who currently does try to get out from underneath the car. He does bring his hands up, and he's trying to pull himself as hard as possible. His leg, yeah, it's broken. Definitely the left leg. Okay, okay. Just come on. Come on, he can do this. Him trying to move. And Marcy does get another shot at the person. Currently, them being shot as is a flying up into their shoulder. Her taking a shot in their shoulder before the person, they are in Deku's view. And he does look down. Currently, him grabbing his pistol and pulling it, aiming through the window of the busted car. Right now, him going to fire and hit the person directly in the kneecap. Them going to tumble over as right now they do a smash into the ground. Them turning and going to see Deku, for he's to aim the weapon up and blast him on the head. Currently watching the bullet fly through their metal helmet. Now, when that is to happen, there is Marcy, who does get a turn. Her running back over and beginning to try and push onto the car. Her going to slightly lift it up as she's holding up the heavier side. And Izuku, he does go to crawl his way backwards on his hands out. Before he's a turn, him talking about how, yeah, no, that wasn't good. We're lucky this thing blew a long time ago. Maybe, maybe. Shit. You alright? My back. I'll be fine. Legs hurt more. Him turning. Rhino going to bring up a stim pack and stab it down into his leg. Before, he has to sit there for a minute. Marcy helping him up as the two they do to make their way up the road. Deku being able to get up the road before he can put weight down properly back on his injured leg. Though his other foot, well, his right leg, does still feel some pain, though it doesn't need a stim pack. They're trying to make sure they don't rely too much on them, and that it's something that's good. However, they do see the town in the distance, currently seeing the fires that do still burn here. And this, it is intriguing. Right now, them being able to walk across the tracks before Marcy does begin to somewhat recall all of this. Her pulling out her mentats and beginning to take some of them. And this is where Deku does a turn. Her putting the pills in her mouth and beginning to somewhat chew. Before Deku, he does a stare on. Them seeing what the Legion did. I mean, Caesar's Legion, this is a barbaric. Them looking around. There is a human skeleton on top of those tires that burn. Then there are corpses littering the streets. I mean, Jesus. And then they see it. Truly one of the worst things the Legion can do. There are corpses mounted on crosses. And Deku, he stares at that a little horrified. I mean, this is barbaric. Him walking over. Before she's a turn, her walking over herself and looking up at the men. I mean, they're State of Decay. They've been here for weeks, months even. The fact that they're still up there, it's grotesque. This was a warning. No, this was a massacre. And Deku does stir up. Him silent. Before he has a turn, talking about how they need to move on. This place, it reeks of death. And she doesn't understand. She doesn't want to be here either. I mean, they passed through. Once was enough. Twice is too many. She'd rather like to avoid Nipton, if at all possible. Now, the two, they do go to leave quickly, since this place, from what they can tell, it might have already been looted. I mean, it's off. And they do walk further down the highway, seeing the barren desert in front of them. Them walking past the corpse on the road of a man with a blue jacket. And this, it does mean quite a bit. I mean, most of the men here were wearing the same similar clothing, the same type of jacket, or the same style. So this was a faction, a group possibly, or maybe just another gang like the Vipers. It's possible, but they're not too sure. Keep it in consideration. Maybe just not pay too much attention to it. Not right now, at the very least. And the two, they walk into the desert. Right now, them following the road and trying to think about what to do. I mean, there's not much to do. Just walk or run. That's all they've got. And this, it's a little annoying. They're following clues but don't know where to go. They just have ideas. He's relying on Marcy. He wants to trust her. Give her that faith? I mean, she likes to give him shit. It's refreshing just having an opinion. They need to work together as a team. That's what they're supposed to do. But sometimes it just feels like she's arguing with him just to argue. And that he doesn't like. He'll keep it to himself right now, but he has his doubts about Prim. Completely. Now, they do encounter more Vipers. However, Marcy does quickly dispatch them from a distance. However, she does spend most of her ammunition. They do go further. And eventually, they do get to see another gas station. But this time they get to turn and look up left. Marcy pointing out that those are the exact statues they've seen before. That she's seen. There's an outpost up there. From what she knows, that's the Mojave outpost. I mean, it's under NCR control, but they need to stop there. I mean, Prim, from what she doesn't understand, has a sheriff, but the town's a little, you know, bare bones. They're still trying to recover from people attacking it. And Deku does understand. They finally have to talk with the NCR. Well, this is going to be interesting. Him talking about it. Them heading up the road and going further. And right now it is around 4 o'clock in the afternoon. They've spent most of their day walking. Most of their day heading through the dry desert and trying to kill anything that tries to take them down. And when they do go to walk into that outpost, some people do go to look at them, staring at the woman in a vault suit and the man in a cloak. It can't be helped. They're new faces around the outpost. They're strangers. And when the two do walk in, there is where they're going to walk through the front door of the outpost. A man standing there at the desk asking them if they are caravanners, soldiers, or if they're just merchants. And this does kind of confuse them. Him trying to tell them why exactly he needs this information. And the two, they do look at each other, just talking about how they're travelers. The man noting this down, though he doesn't finally look up. Him saying something that does break the monotony of his day. And this, it does make him do a bit of a double take. Currently, him turning to his cup that does sit on his desk before he does go to someone push it away and right now look back at the two, concerned about what's in it. Though the two, they do get odd looks from everybody inside the outpost. Deku asking about a place to get some supplies. And someone, they do talk about heading to the bar out back. And the two, you don't gotta tell them twice. Them gonna step out and make their way to the bar. Now, there is Trudy. When she saw them walk in, she asked them about exactly what they're here for. And when the two tried to talk about information and ask a question, she didn't really know how to respond. I mean, they're looking for a girl. Isn't everybody? Who knows? Hell, just be careful with that. Currently, Trudy expressing. Her asking if they like anything to drink, or if they like any more supplies, stim packs, ammunition, or if they're just here to buy scrap. You know, anything of that sort? Hmm? What type of ammunition do you have? Depends on what you need. I see you got a carbine there. You just looking for the standard ammunition, or are you looking for some armor-piercing rounds? Won't say no armor piercers. How much you got? I could spare a few magazines. We got. Hang on a minute. Her gonna turn. Rhino reaching under the bar before she does a turn and yell something at a trooper. Them going to run to the back real quick and carry out a large box. Currently, them gonna pull it open as is have a label on it. Trudy going to look at the supplies they do have left. Talking about it. She's got about. She can spare about 7 of them. Really? Yeah, that's fair. How about we call that. What? Armor piercing round. Magazines are fully loaded, so 7. mm, About 236 caps? Really? Mm, It's something, isn't it? Better munition, better chances of living. Come around and complain to me later if you don't. Right. Currently, her turning to Marcy, and Marcy does sit there. Her holding up the 10 mm and putting it on the bar, talking about it. How much will this fetch them? I mean, they've ran into a few feisty people today. Along with that, her is going to set down another grenade, along with a knife on the table, talking about how that should at least be a decent amount taken off then. Doesn't she agree? Hmm. Fair, but I assume you're gonna buy something else? Whiskey, if you got it. How much? How much you need? Let's say 6. Really? What? It's antibacterial. We might need it. Trudy turning. Since that word isn't one she thought she'd heard in a. Yeah. That word is not one she thought she'd ever hear in a bar. And the two, they do somewhat look at each other. Deku, aware that that's not why Marcy really does want the whiskey. However, he has a turn. Him reluctant, but telling her that if this does come back, then next time she's buying it. Her nodding her head, Before the two, they do go to leave. Currently, them heading back down the road and just trying to think where to go, what to do. And right now, they do go to make their way towards Prim. And Marcy does begin to pop more mentats. Deku turning and watching her chow down on these chems. Before he does go to turn away and think. Right now, him going to check the magazines he does have on his belt. Before he does go to look at his weapon as they're walking down the road. Maybe he should have bought something else. I mean, it's a little bright out here. Definitely bright. Hell, glasses would definitely help. They might go snowblind. Well, I guess sandblind is this word. No, that's. God, this heat must be getting to him. These being some of the thoughts going through his mind. And Marcy, she is remembering back to that day. A lot more is beginning to come through. The same road, the same place. It doesn't look different. All that's different is now she's walking it with Izuku. And he's been strange to be around. I mean, he's going with everything. The insanity, the craziness. He got all of them out of that fucking jail. Though now they're out here. Honestly, it pisses her off sometimes. She doesn't know whether to thank him or punch him in the teeth. The shit they deal with, though, it might be better than those cells. Honestly. Where in the guidebook did it talk about being fucking mutated? Well, let me tell you where. Nowhere. That's fucking where. This being many of the stray thoughts going through Marcy's head. Regrets. Things that happened. And there is one thought that does cross her mind. If they never left the vault. I mean, it's been about a year, right? So that means if she was still in the vault, she would have gotten married. I mean, her partner. Her having her gaze somewhat wander over to Deku, and the two, right now, are passing by a highway station. Them turning and seeing the graffiti that says fuck you right on the door. And this, it does look at a laugh out of both of them, since it kind of does draw the attention. And we do currently have somebody who is up on a ridge. Right now they are laying down in the sand. And they do have their iron sights at the ready. They're staring on. And they do go to see the two wastelanders who are here. Them having their eyes begin to focus more. And they do go to see. No. That can't be. Them going to turn. Right now, going to someone stand up a bit more. And there is Izuku, who hears to see the bright shine of a weapon in the distance. Him turning before he's to aim up his weapon and go to begin firing in that direction. Him going to turn as Marcy does this one move down. Currently, her going for cover. Now, the two, they do go and try and stay here. And there's Izuku, who currently does go to talk about how he swore he just saw something. Is that the new ammunition? No, regular magazine. Guy's too far away. Though, definitely knows that we know he's there now. You sure? Yeah. But, you think you can hit him? I might be able to. Her going to turn. right now going to throw her head a bit over the car before a shot does make her have to somewhat jump back down. Her going to turn and talk about it. Maybe not. Uh, she needs a distraction. Seriously? Yeah, trust me. If you can distract him, I can get a shot off. I mean, hit him. It'll be good. I can make it clean. And if you can't, then it'll definitely be something. Her going to turn. And Deku doesn't understand. Currently, him going to somewhat taking a deep breath and turn. Before he does immediately going to run out of cover and get onto his feet. Him moving from being on all fours to up and moving. And right now, Deku, he doesn't move fast, currently running Doki out and into the open. And Marcy does it awaits 3 seconds and then go to turn. Her getting up and trying to look out. Come on, where is he? Where is he? She knows he's there. Come on, come on. Her seeing a bright flash, and this does tell her exactly where her target is. Her gonna fire as the bullet's gonna fly through the air and strike its target. However, we do have Deku. He was running, and he made sure that he was available. He kept his body, however, facing with his left arm and left leg towards the enemy. If they're going to strike him, he's going to make sure they don't hit anything vital. But yeah, that didn't turn out quite well. Especially over Deku, he felt the bullet smash into his arm and it still went Doki through, smashing straight into his side. On this, it causes Doki to fall down onto the ground for a minute. He felt a sharp, stabbing pain, and then it went away. And this, it wasn't too good. Currently, him going to turn and see that Marcy, she shot at the person. Though she does stand, quickly making her way up the hill and trying to get this person down. Confirm the kill and they can move on. However, she's come running up. Currently, her seeing a man who does go to lie in the sand. However, whenever she is standing above him, she has to stare down at his hockey mask. Her a little confused. Before the person, they do get to say her name. Marcy? And this, it does give her some surprise. However, the person, they kick her directly in the ankle, and she is swept directly off of her feet. Now, the person, they turn, scurrying onto their feet as they grab their sidearm, currently holding up a 44 and then yelling at her, screaming about exactly where the fuck she's been. And she is going to fully stand. Right now, her looking at her rifle that does lay in the sand. And Tommy, he does go to pull up the top half of this hockey mask. Currently, him showing off his strange mutated eyes. They're like a bloatfly's, heavily mutated, however. Jesus, has he been out here the whole time like this? Tommy? It is you. But, but that means you're with John? You escaped? I mean, that's the only explanation. The cloak, the green skin, mutants aren't welcome anywhere. They're not welcome anywhere. Marcy, it's so good to see you again. I've been out here by myself, surviving. Others, John, him running over, and there is Zuko, who currently does come moving up the ridge. However, when he doesn't see this person, he has his weapon aimed at them, lowering it, seeing Tommy's somewhat familiar face. Clearly wasn't human anymore. And that meant it was one of them. Deku, he felt a bit strange. He wanted to smile. Though Marcy did see Deku hold up what remains of his left hand. Currently, three of the fingers missing, as a lot of that area, yeah. It looks pretty damn bad. Holy shit. Her running over. Currently, grabbing a piece of Deku's cloak and going to tear it. Before she was going to hold it up and begin to rip his hand. Tommy apologizing under his breath about the shot. Though Izuku, he does just get to stare at Tommy. And Marcy does get to stare at him. Did you take any Med-X? No, I'll be fine. Honestly, I can still feel my fingers. Seriously? Yeah, yeah. That, fuck, there it is. That's not the concern. Tommy, is that you? Yes, yes. Um, out, out, out in the open. Come on. Him gonna turn, beginning to make his way uphill and further into the desert, off the beaten path. And this does concern the two, them turning to each other and staring. And Marcy, she feels bad. She doesn't say it aloud, but Deku might have just lost his left hand. And while he still might be able to pull a trigger, it's not good. I mean, that carbine he now can only fire with one hand. And that already isn't the best idea, even if it is possible. Now, the two, they do to make their way after Tommy, following him up and into what appears to be a area. It's a little oasis in the desert. It looks like there's actual mud here. Dirty water, a small bridge. This is a small little oasis. However, when the two do get a step closer, their ears of their Pip-Boys do begin to alert them to the radiation. And that does make the two both look down before looking back up, seeing Tommy casually stroll across the bridge and over to the house. And that does have them concerned. Currently, Marcy expressing, if he's been here the whole time, that can't be good for him, right? I don't think so. Do we have right away? I still carry some on us. I have a theory. I don't know if it's good, but just because we're resistant to radiation doesn't mean we can't die from it. Good theory. Though, what about him? Not really too sure. He's clearly not in his right mind, huh? Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what it could be. I mean, clearly it's some sort of psychosis, but I don't know if it's caused by isolation or the radiation. Could be a mix of both. So, how do we want to approach this? I mean, you know him better than I do, don't you? I hardly know him. The vault was a big place. You know him better than I do. Besides, if we're gonna try and pull rank here, and if that's what he might listen to, then still. Besides, he shot you. He knows it was bad. Use that. I can, but did you really have to pull out the rank thing? Sorry. It just came to mind. Time's back in the vault. That might be what he focuses on. Remembers more clearly, if anything's still left in his head. The two going to walk in. And right now, they do to hear their Geiger counters beginning to click, as Tommy, he does take them inside to his home. And this place, it clearly is glowing with radiation. However, it's an actual house. This going through Deku's mind. Them stepping in and seeing the first floor. I mean, there are beakers everywhere. There's a workbench, there's a staircase directly in front of them, there's a wardrobe in the corner, there's a stove, and he was cooking some food. Oh god, that does smell so good. This on both their minds. Tommy found an actual house all the way out here. I mean, good for him, but they've got to get him away from here. Currently, Tommy walking over and going to set down his rifle. Before he does, going to bring up a ladle and begin to stir a pot. Right now, him turning up the heat to it for expressing about exactly if any of them are hungry. He's making some real good stuff. I mean, he put some jalapenos in and other ingredients. Has a bit of a kick to it. It tastes real good too. It gets some used to, I guess. Careful though. He has had to gather some extra ingredients. Might not just taste right yet. He was actually out going to try to get some when saw them. Uh-huh. Currently, Deku taking a bowl that Tommy does to offer. Him going to go to drink the stew. Currently, him swallowing the meat and chewing it. And it does taste okay. I mean, yeah, he can feel the spice to it, but there's not really much else. It's missing a lot of things. And Izuku, he does try to step forwards, trying to tell Tommy about how they kind of do want to talk to him. It's been a very, very long time. Has he been okay out here? No, no, no. Not okay. Hide, run, not found out here. People chase, attack, hurt. Things not quite right. After that, chased me out of town. Tried to kill me. The boom, 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 the fireworks. People screaming. People dying. Fire. Screams. Them staring at him. And this, it does sound very bad. Tommy going to turn back. Currently going to walk over and begin to pull a few things out of the bag he had. We're now going to either grind them up or slice into them with a knife he does have next to the stove, before just dropping them inside and talking about a few things. Turning back, about how, where's Carla? Carla? Other person, other uh, friend, comrade. I see. Listen, Tommy, you know who I am, right? Yes, friend. You both friends, right? Yes, Tommy, we're both friends. And you have us worried for you. Do you understand? Tommy, going to have the knife in his hand, turning and going to look at the two. Before he does express, he okay, he's fine. Things just get fuzzy, go hazy. That's all. But he's okay. Just give him time. Feel better after he eats. Feels better after he eats. Him gonna turn, stirring the pot again, and then gonna pull another bowl before making an offer to Marcy and asking her if she'd like anything. And she just won't stare at it before she's gonna look at a particular chunk and go to grab it. Her staring at this bowl before bringing it up and taking a whiff. And it, oh boy, that smells terrible. Deku turning his head, looking at the rifle that Tommy used to shoot off 3 of his fingers. I mean, it's definitely a piece of work. The model, damn, that thing must be an antique. Survived a long ass time ago, so of course it might survive the war. This threw Deku's mind, and Tommy, he has a turn. Currently, Deku asking Tommy the question again if he'd be willing to leave. No, not safe. Not safe to go out there. Lim- limits. Don't go past. No, 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 not safe. Tommy, Tommy, listen to me. Look at me. Deku is stepping forwards, bringing a hand up onto Tommy's shoulder, and he does go to stand there. Him staring at Deku's hand whenever Deku does bring up his right hand, asking Tommy to hand him the knife. He does stare at Deku before just nodding his head and going to let go of it. Deku turning and sitting it down on the counter before he has to turn back to Tommy. Listen, buddy, we're worried about you. Okay? No, no, fine. I is okay. Just a little knocked around. Be fine. The things just need time. Time to heal. Uh, that's right. Time to just stay together. No, get things together. Stay here. We can't, buddy. Listen, this place is dangerous. Hmm? Dangerous? How? Where's the danger? Buddy, we're in danger right now, okay? It's all around us. Tommy shoving Izuku away. Right now, Deku going to be thrown backwards and smashing on the ground. Before he does, gonna watch Tommy run over and grab his weapon. Him looking around and trying to figure out where the danger is. And Marcy does bring her hand up. Her going to tell Tommy just stop. And that the danger, it's here. They need to leave from here. Though he's acting manic, hysterical, screaming that this is the only safe place. And it doesn't do them any good. They're trying to advise him to leave, though clearly it's not working. They might have to restrain him and get right away in his system. But what's worse right now is they have to get the gun away from him. And Tommy, he has that turn. Right now, him yelling at Marcy when she has to step forwards. Him going to accidentally pull the trigger and a bullet goes flying down, smashing down next to her foot. Before he does go to express, currently reloading. For her not to move. He's got to find the danger. Protect all of them. Keep all of them together, together and safe. Together, safe. Like family. Like family. Tommy? Tommy? Where? Where Where is family? Hey, hey, Tommy. Him looking a bit more crazed. Before he's a fire a shot and it is a smash into Marcy's arm. Her going to feel the pain as she does a turn. Renault us having Izuku, who does, sadly, bring up his weapon and go to pull the trigger. However, his gun does a jam, and Tommy hears a reload again, and then he does go to fire. Right now, him pulling the trigger, another bullet is flying at Deku. Him bringing up his arm and having the ammunition fly into it. Him going to sunken in pain as he does, going to move forwards and on his feet. Currently, him smacking the side of his gun and going to the clear up the mistake happening with his weapon, since it didn't want to properly chamber the round. And Deku's to pull back the hammer. Currently, him firing up at Tommy and going to hit him directly in the wrist. Tommy feeling the weapon hit him as he has to slightly drop the weapon and then going to turn. Marcy letting out a powerful scream as he does descend flying up into the roof and then smashing down. Her watching as some of the things around the building do get knocked around, along with that pot of stew smashing over and onto the floor. And Tommy, he does go to sit there, his wrist bleeding, for looking down and seeing the food scatter. Him screaming out for rushing down the stairs, currently trying to salvage what he can as the two do look down at the scraps. Though wasting food would be considered bad, but they do get a bit of a better picture looking at it now. Especially because Tommy, when he does bend down, he does bring a mouthful of meat directly to his face. However, Izuku, he does see severed fingers among some of the meat that was in that pot. And this, it does slightly make his stomach churn. And Marcy, the moment she says see that, she said look at the bowl Tommy offered her, a little bit more horrified. Since Tommy, he's been surviving out here, but he hasn't been hunting animals. And that's horrifying to them both. Now, Tommy does sit there, and Marcy, she does go to rush forwards. Currently, her taking her weapon and smashing him on the back of the head. As Tommy, he is falling forwards. Her moving forwards as the man, he does try to roll over. Her bringing the weapon up and smashing him in the face again. Before she'll pull back and then smash him in the face again. This being where Tommy, he does try to scream out. Her standing over him for smash him in the face as hard as she can. This time her cracking his skull and knocking him out. And Izuku, he does go to get onto his feet. Him walking over and staring down. Her just alarmed. She doesn't know what to do. She tried to knock him out. He wouldn't just knock out. I mean, look at his fucking face. His eyes bulging, his skull's broken, his nose is bleeding. They can't save him. He's fucking eating people. He's gone. Her holding the sniper rifle directly to Tommy's head. Before she does to bring her finger down, and Deku does her to grab her wrist. Her trying to look at Deku before he does tell her, wait outside. What are you talking about? Wait outside. I knew him. Wait outside. Okay. Okay. Her feeling her hands trembling, turning and going to leave. Right now, Marcy getting clear of the radioactive area. Though she doesn't hear, after she has to leave the door, closed, a gunshot, followed by two more. And then she started hearing another sound, followed by another gunshot. And this, it does somewhat horrify her. Before she has to see Deku coming to walk out of the house. Currently, him brings something up in his hand that is on fire. And he has a turn. Right now, him tossing it directly at the house and beginning to watch it go up in flames. Currently watching the fire head into an area and then beginning to spread. Him crossing over the bridge and away from the area as well. And the two, they do somewhat sit there. It's the sun's going down. They're all the way out here in the middle of nowhere, and the sun's setting. They found Tommy. Hopefully he can rest. John, Chloe, they're still alive, right? Connor and Tommy are dead. A third of their group is dead. And this, it does go through Deku's mind. Connor, they couldn't save. Tommy, they had to put down. And Marcy does stand there, watching Deku just look up at the flames, staring at them, lapping away and burning that house. The house their friend used to live in. And that word feels sour on his tongue. Marcy bring her hand out and grabbing Izuku's. Her letting out a bit of a squeeze as Deku does still look forward, staring at the fire. And the two, they do watch it burn. They watch this thing go up in a blaze. And then they leave. They made sure it went up. Made sure completely. They didn't want to leave behind any trace of it. Didn't want to show anything or let them know that one of them were here. And that's what Deku did. Tommy's rifle. It's on his shoulder. His Pip-Boy. It's in his bag. And right now, they do to leave. They head back down to that highway patrol center. And they make camp for the night. And it is a little silent. Not much talking gets done. Though they just sit there. Deku, he still feels sick. He vomited in that house. He couldn't stomach what Tommy made him do. What he ate. What's worse is, he thought it tasted good. Something is clearly wrong. What the fuck is wrong with this world? That going through Izuku's mind. Right now, him just sitting quietly. Him cleaning Tommy's rifle and trying to maintain the weapon his friend used. The weapon that his friend put his life in. His weapon that was his lifeline. Now, with that all being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed. And have an amazing night. I'll catch you guys in the next part.